there's so many chemicals in the foods that we have to really be careful of. But you can totally have, you know, a chocolate cake or have dessert. Like, there's no need to tell yourself you can't eat these things, you can't do these things.
Let's go.
Alison, hello.
Hi. I finally
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone at home, Alison and Ashley, really looking forward to her coming on today. She's a health and wellness coach. So Alison, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you everyone for tuning in at home. So yeah, we figured it out. Don't worry, pretty standard. Usually takes a few minutes. Facebook doesn't make it easy.
No.
So if Facebook's listening, then you guys got to fix that out. But yeah, so thank you for coming on. So yeah, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes, so I'm a health and wellness coach, and hold on, let me readjust. There we go.
Sure.
A lot of times people think it's just dieting and eating the right things, but a lot of times it's the mindset and also the relationship between food. Actually, a lot of times, a lot of people put too many goals, and they want a set time to lose weight, or and a lot of times that actually prevents them from not losing weight, because they're like thinking, I can't eat this, I can't do that, I can't do that. It's just too much stress. So stress has a lot to do with gaining weight, because the cortisol in the body starts to move, and it starts to, like, insulin resistance and other things can happen, and it can be actually a trigger to not lose weight or not eating enough. A lot of people, they don't eat the right foods or eat enough, and that could be a big trigger also.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great point there. So, Alison, I'd love to know, like, how did you get into this sort of industry? Because it sounds like it's so rewarding to help people, you know, in regards to battle those kind of emotions and you know, with the types of eating. So, how did you get into that?
Yeah, short story. I got into personal development and self-discovery, and then into a holistic lifestyle. And I started seeing, like, different foods, the benefits of food, and we don't have to always reach for supplements and other things. You can actually eat the right foods to get the right nutrition. So I got really into nutrition and benefits of turmeric and black strap molasses and all sorts of stuff, and vitamin C just in oranges. And you don't have to go through all these supplements to look young and feel good. You can actually eat real food instead of a lot of packaged food, and a lot of the, you know, snacks and things that we take has a lot of preservatives and a lot of bad stuff in the food. So
Definitely,
it's good to eat fresh food instead of all this, like, snacking stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, preservatives just in food is just crazy. Like, fresh is best. I mean, sometimes it's difficult to get all that, but I mean, like, I'm lucky where I am. There's, you know, so many fresh fruit and vegetable places and things like that. But depending on you know, where you are, I know certain regions in, say, the States, it's actually quite difficult to get to those fresh fruit and vegetable places, which is unfortunate. But at least with the education there, then it's a case of trying to fix the problem as such. Because yeah, food can play such a massive role on basically just the way we feel, our energy levels, just everything. Like, yesterday for myself was just a pure vegan day, and it just kind of came about like that. But you know, I really try to. I like the taste of meat, but you know, it really just, different days have different effects. And so, you know, yesterday was a vegan day. I made for sweetened potato chips for dinner, which is great, and then you know, made you know, Brussels sprouts and what else, broccoli and all these different things, and put a little bit of hot sauce on there.
Yeah. The taste buds to like it. And chili actually is good for vitamin K, and that adds some flavor, or turmeric or whatnot. So you can actually add flavor to the foods that actually have health benefits too, and we don't realize.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's good to play around with food. Too many people are like, I got to eat this type of food, this type of food, this type of food. And you can eat whatever your body, you really have to listen to what your body wants in that moment. So I work with a lot of clients with intuitive eating. And so they really have to figure out what works for them and what doesn't work for them. Some people love dairy, some people don't like it. Some people like meat, some people don't. So you just have to find certain foods that benefit your body and make you feel good, instead of drowsy or tired or lethargic. A lot of food gives you like food coma and stuff like that, so it doesn't give you that energy throughout the day. So you really want to pick energy foods, and some foods are not so filling. So you have to look at the carb and other factors in cooking. Like it's good to have a high fat, like avocado, and then
Definitely.
have a vegetable, and then have a meat or another protein if you don't like meat. So it's good to have all three things going on, and then you can have a little carbs too, as long as the carbs are not overbearing on everything else. But there's no need to not eat a certain thing because you think you'll gain weight or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just in moderation. Some people just eat too much of a certain thing.
And that in itself can be really bad.
Is not good. Yeah. So it's just really about just consciously thinking, like, if I want to lose weight, what are the few things that I need to do to get me there, and do a check-in, whether it's an emotional thing or just genetics, or if there's another physical thing going on internally that could be causing you to gain weight. So it's always good to go to the doctor and check and do the blood test first to see if there's any underlying issues that might be causing you to gain weight, or especially for women, because hormones play a big part in weight gain, estrogen and insulin resistance and hormonal imbalances. Yeah. So higher testosterone makes you lose weight and be more thin. And then estrogen makes us, and progesterone makes us a little heavier. For women, we have a little more tougher time figuring this whole thing out than men, because men have more of a simplistic body. They don't have all the other factors that could be contributing to it. But men can be emotional eaters also, or age can be a factor for men also, in stress.
Yeah, absolutely. All great points. Because sometimes I'll do the same, where if I'm going through something I don't want to do, like work-wise or whatever else, the emotional eating definitely helps.
Yes.
But really try to limit that. But yeah, the food itself is can have such a huge impact on us. Like, at the end of the day, to lose weight, it's about eating less calories than what you burn. But the actual quality of food makes all the difference, because that's what's going to impact energy levels, mental state, how we feel. Like, the actual quality of food is so different, and there's so many different options to do. So it's not a stencil that one fits all, but there's certainly a lot of variant in that, and really just being on the right path, and as you said, fresh is best, or at least limiting the amount of, I guess, packaged or tinned food that you have is going to work a lot better than just always eating just preservatives and junk and that sort of thing.
Yes. I see somebody put their my thyroid is terrible, and thyroid is a big thing, hypo or hyper, and that can be a huge contributing factor. So therefore, eating the right fuel foods are really important. So thyroid is in charge of all of that stuff. So it's important to get your thyroid checked and balanced if there is a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's the medications definitely help, but foods can play a big role in that as well. And it's so interesting to see that over the last few years, it's now that foods are really becoming more of the go-to, where absolutely still need to take your meds, but foods can actually help in regards to treatments for such things. And it's always been a case of, say, with doctors, there's really no nutrition based education, and it's really a case of it's all just take this and that, whereas if there was a nutrition element to it, I think that there would be more of a holistic type experience for everyone. It would be a much better scenario, because there's cases where people eating well have actually significantly helped to decrease certain diseases and things like that. And sometimes there isn't a cure with food, but at the same time, there's definitely potential for better quality of living just from the food quality.
Yes.
So Amanda says, I lost 50 kilos or 120 pounds in 11 months when I started taking the medication for my thyroid. Okay. So Amanda, did that help to regulate that? Is that what you're saying there? All right, so when Amanda jumps on there for us. So, Alison, I mean, that's fantastic. Like, it's fantastic that, you know, you're in a position that you're helping others in regards to their food choices. Yeah, so that the medication help regulate things for her. Perfect. So,
Yeah,
you
sometimes
know,
sometimes you need,
yeah,
like for thyroid, sometimes you need that medication to push it forward and then make a conscious difference on what you eat.
yeah,
Like PCOS is a big one for women. They, you can gain weight and get excessive hair and insulin resistance. So you have a lot of weight around your belly area, and the belly area is the hardest to remove, to lose weight. And then also on the emotional part of things, a lot of people have trouble. They feel guilty about food, or they are eating because they've had a bad day or broke up in a relationship, or their boss was annoying and stressful.
yeah.
So they have to figure out also what emotional triggers are playing into why they're not losing weight or why they're gaining weight, and why they're choosing the foods that they're choosing. Because there's this whole
Okay.
thing regarding raw milk versus, real milk, and all these health benefits with raw milk, but some states, they don't really sell raw milk. So there's a lot of, like, society keeps on telling you, don't eat butter, don't eat dairy, don't eat this, don't eat that. And you have to really think for yourself what your body needs, not what society is telling you what not to eat.
Yeah.
So there's a really good book out called the Diet Dental Plan, and Vitamin K, the Calcium Paradox. And so there's a lot more research out there now that actually you can get more information about what are the vitamins that we need to stay healthy, and what foods provide the benefits and the vitamins. So,
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, because I mean, look at say back in schools where they had the food pyramid, like that's almost obsolete now. Where there's still a lot of, where like back in the day it was just a case of the food pyramid was the go-to for what you needed, but they've realized that that's not the case. Like it's great. Like cooking with butter is much better than say, vegetable oil and things like that. So there's big differences, and there was actually a thing in the States for, I think it's still going on where they were saying, like coconut oil, for instance, saying it's not healthy and it's un-American to eat coconut oil opposed to vegetable oil. And it's like, well, that's not the case at all. It's just more that, the US has more of a hold on the profits for the actual vegetable oil themselves, but vegetable oil is actually really, really bad.
yes, like French fries, the way French fries are cooked, and certain ways that the oil breaks down as you're cooking can be carcinogenic. Um,
Yeah,
so, so the way people eat in Europe versus the States, it's way different. The way that the foods are cooked and manipulated. Here, there's so much GMO and so much processed food that there's so many chemicals in the foods that we have to really be careful of. But you can
yeah,
totally have, a chocolate cake or have dessert. Like, there's no need to tell yourself you can't eat these things, you can't do these things, because a lot of times the mindset works against you also. If you have negative thoughts toward food, then that's what's going to happen. If you say, I'm going to gain weight if I eat this chocolate, or gain weight if I eat one cookie, then you probably will gain weight, because usually your mind does crazy stuff like that. And then what you obsess
definitely.
about and focus on can change stuff also. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
so it's because Amanda had asked, like, what healthy foods or healthy snacks to eat, because she wasn't eating enough during the day. Um,
Okay.
and sometimes, sometimes just getting a protein, something with protein, like almond butter, peanut butter, any kind of butters, or a smoothie that has kale, strawberry, possibly protein powder in there, just to give you a boost through the day, so you're not eating without eating food more than 3 or 4 hours. It's good to have something in between, even if it's something small, to have something and not eat, because your cells are starving, and to drink a lot of water and enough fluid in your body. So, so it's really
Yeah,
important. to know what your body likes and what it doesn't like.
That's it. And, coming back to the whole, you can eat cake and things like that, I completely agree. Like, if you're on a calorie deficit for basically, 4 to 5 days, it's actually good to have a refeed day where you actually increase your calories back up to, say, standard or maybe a little bit over. So on a refeed day, or a cheat day, if you want to have a bit of cake, like, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, protein is going to be so helpful in helping to not only reduce your hunger, but also help just to, get you through the day, and it'll help with just your muscles and everything there. And yeah, I mean, as Alison said, there's some fantastic things like fats. Nuts, for instance, are very high in fat. Just a small handful of nuts are fantastic for a meal because they're, basically low carbs, but high fat, high protein. And high fat, high protein is actually really underrated as really, I think, just because the education just isn't there. And, I'm a big fan. I didn't realize that when I started having nuts, I would eat a little bit of nuts and I was tired all the time. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Weigh your food just to really, because I had no idea how much 100 grams of nuts was. I thought it was going to be like a tiny little bit. It's actually a lot of food.
Yes.
So
Some
I
people
found that
have
really
high
interesting.
allergy to nuts, so you have to know. Sometimes Brazil nuts or certain things are not good for certain people, but
Yep.
almonds
Oh, of
are
course.
always
Yeah.
good, and even peanut butter sometimes because of the other mold factor or something in the body when it digests. For some people, it's not good either. So they just have to see, like sunflower butter is high protein. It's really good.
Yep.
So nuts, you just have to see. Some people are not good with raw nuts. They have to wash them first and drain
Yep.
them. And then sometimes people can eat, nuts to give them high protein. So it
Yeah.
just
Okay.
depends.
Now, Alison, what's your thoughts on with soaking nuts? Do you have much on that?
I think there's always benefits to that. I don't think we have to get too crazy with it. I think it just depends if obviously a lot of times time is a factor and you don't have time to soak. And if you eat it, you don't have to feel bad that you didn't soak it. Sometimes it's important just to eat. And if you feel
Yeah,
like
of
you have
course.
low blood sugar or you're starving and you're like, oh my God, I didn't wash my nuts and I'm not going to eat, it's better to just eat. So
Yeah.
sometimes it
Okay.
just depends if you've prepared it to be ready or if you just need to eat. Try and pick the most healthiest thing you can in that moment.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Because a lot of times people have clients or they're busy back to back and they don't have time to eat, but it's really, really important to eat. You have to give yourself, because I know having a 2-year-old, that's when I really don't have time to eat, and eating has been difficult. So I've had to consciously really made a conscious effort on eating stuff that had high value for my body because I'm not able to eat frequently. So it's important to have like eggs sometimes are good high protein, and
Yep.
then fiber. A lot of people need fiber in their diet. So to have a balance between fiber and protein. So like spinach and kale and other things can give you fiber. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts,
Definitely.
like you mentioned, is really good.
Basically, raw vegetables. Really, that's really all. Or at least undercooked or only slightly cooked is really, yeah, a lot of fiber there, which is really healthy for you.
Yeah, I think the smoothies, that's one thing that's been good is that you can put all this stuff and just go and drink it instead of sitting there and cutting it up and eating it. So it saves time with these on the go smoothies as long as you're putting the right ingredients in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I live in Los Angeles, so now there's a smoothie place on every corner. So it's
That's
everything is
great.
about just like eating on fast pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Excellent.
but it's a
So
good thing.
yeah, that's excellent. So Alison, we had a question before from it was a pre-episode question which I thought was fantastic. Basically, Dave was saying that he'll hit a certain weight and then with self-sabotage he'll always go back to that original weight. And do you have any take on why that kind of self-sabotage mindset is in place?
A lot of times it has to do with either negative imprints or negative thoughts that usually has to be looked at on a deeper level of where it's coming from and what is going on a deeper level, because some of it's core issues that has been in from childhood or later in life. And so I would have to get a little more information on what's going on, and
Of course,
where
yeah.
it was. But a lot of it is a lot of it's like limiting beliefs and core emotional issues that a lot of people fluctuate between gaining weight, losing weight. Self-sabotaging is a big thing. A lot of people do that in a lot of areas of their life. And I think a lot of that is either there's other things going on that we don't know what it is. So that's on a deeper level. So that's why I work with a lot of clients where we get into all of that stuff and on a deeper level to find out how to eliminate and overcome and achieve the results, because a lot of stuff that helps is setting intentions versus goals. Goals don't really have the energetic flow to it. Intentions, you write it down and you it's more of a vision, and there's more an energetic movement and flow when you write intentions, and there's certain ways to write it. So and affirmations are a really good tool to help with self-sabotaging. So there's definitely a lot of stuff to help with self-sabotaging, but it could be something that happened early in childhood or later in adult life. And so sometimes you have to kind of work through that to see what's going on. So he can, if he doesn't want to work with somebody trying to figure it out, he can always ask questions and check in with himself and really try and dig deep on what's going on and why the pattern keeps on happening, and to try and consciously shift from the negative pattern to a more positive pattern.
Yeah, fantastic. That's some valuable insight there. So thank you for that. And everyone tuning at home, if you're getting value from this, we'd love to hear from you. #value, if you could drop that in the comments there for us. Or if you're on the replay, #replay, just so we know that you're getting some value from this at a later time. So Alison, this is some fantastic points we're making. And I think there's a lot of education here for those at home that may not have much dietary sense or much knowledge, because as we're touching before, where there really isn't a lot in regards to, say, the schooling system and doctors for nutrition and things like that. And I think it really is something that really needs to have more of a push forward to help educate, because many just don't understand that there is a difference. And for so many years, there was the whole fat is bad, and it's not. It's actually really, really good. It's fantastic, even depending on the type of fat.
Yes.
So I think that more education is really needed. It's fantastic that you're out there and you're helping educate others and helping them move forward with their goals and helping them push past limiting beliefs. So fantastic work there.
Yeah, it's a lot. We're always evolving, and we're always thinking we're a lot of times too hard on ourselves, and a lot of it is all this outside information that we start believing, and then we start changing what our real beliefs are. So a lot of the negative stuff it's like an onion, peeling the onion and getting down to different layers. And so the doctors, unfortunately, they don't spend enough time with each client or patient. And so I think that's why the health and wellness and health coaches, we had to be our own advocate to figure out what's going on with our bodies or mental or emotional health. So it's really important to be your own advocate and really check in with yourself, because nobody knows you better than yourself. And the doctors they see symptoms and symptomatic stuff, but they don't sometimes go into other core issues that might be. A lot of our emotional health is related to our physical health, and a lot of our emotional health is related to diseases along the way, and stress is a big killer, and so we have to really be conscious of things, because the world now is such a high-paced world that you have to really stop and check in with yourself and see how you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's really a case of just auditing yourself, and it's not just from an emotional perspective or a physical perspective, or from a business perspective. It's good just to be really well rounded in regards to that. Emotional intelligence as to where you're at, and just to really think, okay, well, this is an issue I need to face. And it's just about facing it. Because some people, it's sometimes it's if there's something going on with us, we don't want to face it, and that's human nature. Like, the human nature is to go down the easiest path.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really so important to be able to just audit ourselves and be honest with ourselves, because sometimes if we're not honest, we're not going to be able to, if we don't know there's a problem, we can't improve. And I'm a big advocate of that. And so being honest with ourselves, how are we supposed to improve ourselves if we're lying to ourselves? So yeah, Barbara says fight or flight. So hey, Barbara, thanks for tuning in. So it's such a big thing there, and it's fantastic that there are those out there that can actually help and educate others. Because we had a statement before, and it was about thermodynamics, saying that people think thermodynamics is the only thing there is in regards to gaining and losing weight. To be honest, I forgot about thermodynamics. Like, I guess in some sense, like in Australia, like not everyone in Australia, but for instance, Adelaide, we're a bit more in tune with the health, and obesity is still an epidemic, but it's definitely reduced compared to what it was 10 years ago. And there's now a lot more of that shift in regards to, well, eat healthier, eat fats. I watched a documentary once, and it was about all these young students, and they were morbidly obese, and they couldn't figure out why. And it was really sad. And, this young girl was in tears holding a cereal box saying, oh, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. Like, this has no fat in it. I don't understand. And you look at the sugar content, and the sugar content was monstrous. And the carbohydrate levels were monstrous, and the calories were monstrous. And, just to be so uneducated in that, it's just, if it's low fat, then you're okay. Like, it's really, that's got to change. Like, just hands down, it's got to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's exercise is a big thing. It's not your body needs movement. It needs stretching, and it needs to move the energy, and it needs movement, hiking, walking. Even if it's just basic walking, you don't have to go to the gym and do all this extra stuff. You just have to move. And a lot of times we're sitting too much, or confined at the computer or work, and we're not going outside and just seeing nature. Nature actually is really healing, and it takes energy away from us, and the plants and the nature actually takes stuff away from us, so we don't have to hold on to all this stuff. So it cleanses a lot. So just being out, just seeing the trees and the oxygen levels out there. The big thing, counting calories and all of that stuff, it's too much. It's too much stress when you have a thing of, because a lot of times you'll lose the weight but then gain it back after the diet. So the counting the calories is not going to really help so much. It's just knowing what works for you and what doesn't, and just eat with good health benefits and good nutrition. But you don't have to count the calories. And if you exercise, that will even help you lose the weight faster. If you do lunges or stretches or exercise, and it keeps your body fluid.
Yeah, definitely. And low impact exercise like stretching or yoga and walking, it still has so many health benefits. You don't have to go out and run, 10 miles, or go out and lift heaps of weights and things like that. Sometimes something as low key as walking or a bit of yoga at home is more than enough to, get the joints moving better and getting blood flowing more so. And it's really helpful. So, we don't have to be super athletes just to be able to receive the health benefits. And walking, as you mentioned, out in the wild, the wilderness, or wherever else. Like, we have some like mountains here, and I love going to Amanda just says, I love running when I was a kid, fitness goals. Yeah, so there's some great places like Blair National Park I'm a big fan of, because that just clean oxygen there without all the cars and the pollution and the smog. It's cleansing. You can really almost smell the difference between when you're out in the street in the car park there at Blair National Park, and then you actually walk into it. And it's really just a phenomenal difference. though. Barbara's had a question here. What's your morning ritual suggestion? So, Alison, I guess just for obviously, one doesn't fit all, but do you have just, I guess, a typical morning ritual you could suggest for most of the listeners?
It depends if you're a morning person or a night person. It depends what your morning ritual really is, because sometimes it depends if you have children or you don't have children and you need that quiet time in the morning. Sometimes people, just get excited. Like if, for instance, if they're married or if they, have a relationship that they live with the other person and they just enjoy, talking, having a cup of coffee or tea and talking with the other person before they got to get going with their day or go to work or have the kids get up. Other people enjoy exercising early in the morning. She gets up at 5 a.m. So that's super early. I'm a night person. So 5 a.m. I'm like barely going to bed. So really just, you have to figure out what you love doing and what gives you the energy. Some people just have natural energy in the morning. They're just morning people. I would definitely have something to eat. You want to eat something 1 to 2 hours from the time you wake up. So have don't just drink coffee or have something high caffeine. You want to have, if you are a coffee drinker, you want to definitely have something to eat to balance the caffeine and the food balance. And a lot of times people are rushing and they don't eat. When I wake up, I like to listen to the news for 5 minutes. I don't really like the news before bed, but in the morning, just want to catch up with the government, other crazy stuff going on. So sometimes people, like to just watch the news or get caught up for 5-10 minutes. So you just want to oatmeal is good. You just want to, when you have kids, you want to have that space before they wake up, that you can have your moment to get it together, take a shower, get ready for the day before it gets crazy.
Bit of me time.
Me time in the morning. Lemon water is fantastic in the morning, or anytime you can drink it. Hot water with lemon cleanses the body and refuels and resets the body. So it's very good to do that.
Definitely. I found another one as well. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'll have
No,
go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, just touch quickly on Barbara's question about the lemon with the water. I'll have water and the apple cider vinegar, and you only have a little dash of it. But in the morning, just say you wake up and you feel like you have morning breath, or the bacteria in your stomach, having a little bit of apple cider vinegar with water, a lot of water, tiny little bit of apple cider vinegar, that will just cleanse it out. So obviously you're still going to brush your teeth, but you don't feel like you have to anymore, which from a tongue perspective in regards to the bacteria you can feel on your tongue, that'll pretty much eradicate that in the morning. So I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, sorry, Alison, you were saying?
No, that's very good. But also just hot water with lemon just by itself cleanses the body. But you have to be careful with the lemon with the enamel on your teeth. So you want to make sure you brush it off. The warm water opens up your digestion and your stomach, and it's easier for things to digest when you eat. So even when you are having a meal throughout the day, or when you think about it, it's good to have a little warm water to open things up for your digestion so it breaks down easier.
Great.
Then the apple cider vinegar is good too. When you wake up, there's a lot of bacteria in the mouth and in the body. So because when we sleep, it starts to clean it up for us. And then when we wake up, it's all like, hello. So it's good to brush your teeth and cleanse it, with lemon water or the apple cider vinegar. Or if you're into probiotics, because probiotics are very good, that is good to take first thing in the morning, 15 minutes before you eat. So then the good bacteria could get in your system. And then the probiotic is really important, especially if you're on antibiotics or taking any kind of prescription drugs. It's good to have a probiotic. And you could just buy it at Whole Foods or kefir. It's like, you just drink it at BioX. You don't have to actually or you can get supplements too in probiotic, but you can always talk to your, if you have a holistic doctor, ask them, naturopathic doctor, which probiotics to use. but there's definitely kefir is really easy to just buy and take. And she said yuck. I don't know if she's saying yuck to the apple cider vinegar or
I think
the
so,
lemon.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
It is disgusting. I'll put my hand up. It is absolutely vile. But
Yeah.
yeah, it really just makes me feel just clean. Just I know my tongue just feels better and yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is disgusting.
Yeah, some of the stuff we love is really disgusting. I mean, the body loves, but it's really terrible taste.
Yeah, like raw
You know,
broccoli is awful, but it's so healthy.
yeah, yeah. And cod liver oil is good. Um, but like for example, I had a personal trainer for a certain time in my life, and he told me to take this like omega fat like oil to break down the
Yep.
fat to even get skinnier.
Yep.
But it worked for the person he was that took it. But when I took it, I actually had reverse reaction and got fat from taking it
Okay.
because it
Oh,
boosted
geez.
up my estrogen level too much. So you have to be careful on certain things with the omegas because it can actually mess with your hormones and make you gain weight.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of see what works for you. Like I switched to cod liver oil and I haven't had a problem. So it
Yeah,
just
that's
depends.
fantastic.
Yeah, it just depends. But that's why everything doesn't fit for everybody. So, and broccoli is not so tasteful either. For a long time, I couldn't eat broccoli. I was just like mortified. But now I'm like, it's really I mean, I also in your life, your cravings or what your body wants can change because after having a baby my body wanted completely different stuff than what it wanted before the baby because the baby took so
Yeah.
much nutrition out of me. So I never had dairy, I never ate certain foods, and then after I was like, oh my god, I'm so depleted, I have to eat vegetables and other things a lot of protein. So
Yeah.
and lentils are gross, but it's really healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, a lot of gross stuff. That's why it's good to mix it with something or put it in a puree it and maybe just eat it pureed like broccoli or something instead of chomping on it. So
Yeah.
sometimes you can put zucchini like in zucchini bread or put certain vegetables, hide it into something like have to do for kids because kids won't eat it, and then you
Yeah.
can eat it and then get the same benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, like, I mean, touching on, say, the turmeric you mentioned before, adding turmeric to rice, especially brown rice, it makes it yellow. So that makes it a bit more fun for kids. So then they're a bit more open to eating it just because it's, something funky, a different color. Like brown rice, I used to absolutely despise brown rice, but I would eat it knowing how healthy it was with its, antioxidant properties and things like that. But over time, the body does adapt and it gets used to it. So I can very easily now eat a plain bowl of brown rice. If I'm going through like a full diet and I'm having, say, plain chicken and plain brown rice, it is possible. Whereas, prior to that, I couldn't even consider eating brown rice without some sort of like curry sauce or,
Yeah.
something mixed through it. So, yeah, it's definitely that the body adapts. And as you said, the things that taste gross are usually really good for us. And as much as, I'm now getting used to broccoli raw, I still don't like the taste, but I eat it because I know it's healthy. So last night I did cook it, but I only really sauteed it more than anything.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can't really eat raw vegetables. Just my body doesn't break it down so well, so I have to
That's fair
steam the
enough.
vegetables. So
Yep.
sometimes people have to figure out if they can tolerate the steam or the raw versus steam. Because a lot of
Yep.
people with colitis or other IBS, I don't have those issues, but I work with a lot of clients, and they have to be careful with raw stuff because it just comes out, and so you have to just see what kind of symptoms you have and what to eat with the symptoms. And also, Barbara, I think, had mentioned the fight or flight. And that's a big thing with anxiety and anxiety disorder. And that's actually a big thing with the cortisol when we are in fight or flight mode. The cortisol
Yep.
starts running heavy through our bodies, and that makes us gain weight or appear to be a little more fluffier than what we are because it's more of a protection in our body.
Yep.
So one day you can look like, oh, my stomach's kind of flat, and then the other, toward the end of the day, it's like, oh, it gets a little bloated looking, and sometimes it's the cortisol in the body moving and fight or flight. So one minute you could feel fine, and the next minute your body's like in high distress, like
Yeah.
adrenaline and stuff like that, and you go into a panic attack. So right now, a lot of that is happening. So that's like a big that's another topic, but that's a big thing that, because a lot of people are suffering from anxiety and disorder and depression and fight or flight. So it's actually a very, hopefully more people will open up and talk about it, and try and help each other. And because it is kind of an epidemic right now.
Yeah, yeah. Before, when we were trying to figure out the jumping on the live, I was talking about with the mental health and how much more people are becoming open to it. They're not still fully open to discussing it, but it's fantastic that we are getting to that point, because even say 10 years ago, there wasn't really mental health. It was kind of just, if you had an issue, you just kind of, it was left alone and ignored. So it is fantastic that now these things are, there's that open dialect that we can have that conversation and really discuss it, which is going to be so beneficial on so many levels. So yeah, that's really something that's fantastic.
Yeah, we need to open up the dialogue, because a lot of people are suffering in silence, and the only way to open up is to actually talk about it.
Definitely, and it's still in its infancy as well. So it's fantastic that we're really just learning, and the conversation we're having now, in 10 years, this will be such a basic level conversation. Yet in 10 years time, they would have figured it out a lot better and things like that. And so the fact that we're in its infancy is really great, and we can see that it's starting to become part of the conversation.
Right, yes, and also not be so concerned with what we're eating. A lot of the emotional health, we're always so worried about what we're eating, and it takes up so much time and energy, and we need that time and energy and creativity flow on something else, and we're obsessing about food and weight and all of that and trying to look a certain way. And self-acceptance and self-worth is really important. So
Definitely.
You have to really love yourself no matter what stages you're in, because life has different stages, and you have to just go with the ups and downs, and sometimes wait, and all of that is part of that journey.
Definitely.
So you have to just let things, figure things out and why things are happening and stuff like that. And sometimes you could be totally skinny, and then all of a sudden later in life, you've gained so much weight, and sometimes it's all about hormones. So the hormones are a big, big thing. So I want women to really look at their thyroid hormones and different things like that. So it's good that we're starting the dialogue, because there's too much on what they should be eating or what they shouldn't be eating. Sometimes you can just eat what you want and still lose weight if the ingredients are good. Like she said, Amanda had said, fructose, corn syrup, and that sugar and diet soda, aspirin or whatever, is really bad. And so stuff with that, you have to be conscious about. And like propylene glycol and parabens and all of that in skin products and in food, they actually put it in food. And so a lot of the bakery stuff, it's good if you're going to eat something, go for something fresh and not prepackaged.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely. So, Alison, this is fantastic. Like, we've had such a fantastic chat. And everyone at home, thank you for tuning in. If you're getting value, we'd love to hear from you. #value, or if you're on the replay, #replay. So, Alison, how with your business? So, how would everyone get in touch with you for you, be able to help them on their journey? What's your business, and what do you have going on? You mentioned beforehand that you've got a Pinterest account as well. So, how do people get in contact with you?
Yes, I have a website, verticallifepurposecoaching.com, or you can do vlpcoaching.com. I'm on Pinterest as well, verticallifepurposecoaching.com. So they can email me at info@vlpcoaching.com or message me.
Yep.
And I'm going into doing group calls and mastermind. So I'm working on those two things. Right now I'm doing like well, like couple coaching, or like if a family reaches out to do family coaching or one-on-one coaching. And everything is based on a holistic lifestyle to get the optimal health, mentally and emotionally and physically. So, so they can just reach out. They can look me up that way, or message me and ask for more information. But I love it.
That'd be fantastic.
I love to share my journey and help people on their journey, because a lot of stuff, a lot of misinformation is out there. So it's good to be informed and make the right choices for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, fantastic that you are able to help those on their journey. So, if you're able to drop all your links in the comments below as well, and then that way people can just find you with ease. That'd be fantastic. Your website and email as well, if you like. So, Alison, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been absolutely fantastic. It's been a fantastic chat. I think a lot of information there is, we've really shared in regards to nutrition and emotional eating and things like that. So, hormones as well. So, Alison, Ashley, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure out this Facebook Live. So if I've been moving a lot, it's only because I'm trying to figure this out. But thank you guys. Thank you for listening, and great questions too. So it was really great.
Definitely. All right, Alison, well, thank you so much. And everyone tuning in at home, thank you so much for investing your time with us here today.